Ariel Helwani post-fight at UFC 143 alongside UFC President Dana White. Dana, a great card, obviously somewhat controversial main event. Who'd you score it for?
I had it scored for Condit. I had it 3-2 Condit. I gave the first 2 rounds to Nick Diaz, and I gave the last 3 rounds to Condit.
Did Condit surprise you?
No, not at all. He's a tough guy. I mean, I absolutely he surprised me in that I didn't think the fight was going to be as technical as it was. I thought those two were going to go in there and go toe to toe. I think that's what Diaz expected too. I didn't expect the movement and the in and out, and I didn't see that.
Why do you think Diaz lost the fight? Do you think he did, he didn't game plan correctly? Do you think he did something wrong out there?
No, I think Diaz fought like Diaz. He came in, he was very aggressive. And the thing that I like about Nick Diaz too is when a guy comes out with a game plan that stylistically isn't working with him, he starts open hand slapping, he starts talking and taunting and trying to get the guy to fight his fight instead of the whatever their game plan is. And you saw in a couple cases there it started to work, and then Condit would get right back into his game plan.
Did he tell you leading up to this fight that if he lost, that he would say that something like he would retire? Did he ever bring that up?
No. Nick Diaz and I don't have in-depth conversations about his future. And
really?
No, not even close. I think he's very emotional right now. I think him and his team feel like they won the fight, and the kid's in his prime. He'll probably go back. He'll sit down with his camp, and But this is one of those sports. Again, this is one of those sports that you're not half in, half out. You're 100% in, or you don't do this.
Do you get the sense, because he's been hinting at this, do you get the sense that his heart is not in it right now?
No. I think Nick Diaz's heart is in it. He's a fighter. This is who he is. This is what he does. I just think, it's this whole explanation he had for love, this love-hate relationship with the game.
Do you think he'll be back? If you were a betting man, I heard you may be. Do you think he'll be back?
I would bet that he will.
Right. And what about what's next for Carlos Condit? Would you be okay with him waiting for George St. Pierre? Because George is saying now he's going to come back in November. Would you be okay with that, or would you rather see him fight again?
Yeah, no, he can do whatever he wants to. He didn't really take any damage in the fight that I know of. I think he's 100% healthy. If he wants to go home, relax for a little while, and then possibly defend his title before he fights George, I wouldn't have a problem with that at all. I actually think it would be a good thing. I think the more active fighters stay, the better they fight. And he's in his prime. Kid's 27 years old.
What impressed you more, Fabricio Verdum's striking or the fact that Roy Nelson took all those shots?
I was impressed with both. I thought Fabricio Verdum looked awesome tonight, and I think, Big Country has probably the best chin in all of MMA. This guy, the clinch that Verdum had tonight reminded me of the old shoot box. And, we saw Big Country take damage against Dos Santos and everybody else he's fought. Those knees that he ate tonight were impressive.
You've been very critical of him. He came in at the lightest ever for himself, 246 yesterday. He's looking good. Do you tip your cap to him?
I do. I respect and appreciate the fact that he has, taken it serious, lost some of the weight, And let me tell you what, I don't care what anybody says. It helps him in these fights. You can't walk around with 265 when you're not supposed to, when you don't have a 265 frame and think that, you're going to have a ton of energy and nonstop action and keep that kind of a pace for 3 rounds at 265 pounds.
Let's be honest, you don't like the mullet very much, right?
I hate the mullet and I hate the beard, but it is what it is. I don't ever tell guys what to do. If guys come to me and ask for advice, then I give it to them. And I've given him advice and he doesn't want to take it, so is what it is.
And Koscheck beat Pierce. The fans were upset, maybe because they don't like Koscheck, maybe because they didn't like the decision. Who knows? Who'd you score that fight for?
Yeah, I don't really remember how I scored it, but I'm almost positive I had Pierce winning the fight.
What do you do with Koscheck now? Because he's in this weird, spot here because he lost to GSP twice. You're not going to give him a title shot. He's been talking about 185. What do you think is good for him next?
We could do him and Diaz.
Something going on?
What the hell was that? Mike Goldberg just ran through the back here with no shirt on.
Really?
Yeah, that was weird.
That's something you've never seen before, right?
No.
Speaking of which,
I don't ever want to see that again either.
Final note, speaking of which, something we've never seen before, 2 points being deducted in the Caceres-Figueroa fight. Did that surprise you?
Yeah. When it happened, it's surprising me. I'm not a regulator. Lorenzo comes from a regulatory background. I asked him, and he said that's normal. That he was warned twice and then they took 2 points. I think that's pretty tough in a 3-round fight. You take 2 points in a 3-round fight, probably not going to win it. It's the first time I'd ever seen it.
All right, Dana, thank you very much for the time, and we will see you in around 10 days or so in Omaha.
All right, brother. Thank you.